Hey everybody, sorry we had some technical difficulty, but I'm gonna tell you, devil is a liar because this was a good segment. So we're gonna start off again with Miss Soph. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, sorry everybody about that. This is what happens sometimes, but you get it live and direct. Um, yeah, so basically, we were saying about the grading system. So yeah, I just think that over here they're taking an average and then giving you a little extra to sort of soften the blow a bit. I don't know if I agree with that way, but then like you say, what way would you do it? I'm not really sure if the same thing is going to apply this year. They've basically said again there is no exams,
Hmm.
for the students this year, so they don't even take an exam. Um, but then I don't understand what's going to happen with the other children. Are they going to expect them to stay back a year? Because yes, they've been working from home, but they haven't been doing or getting the education they would have done if they were at school. So I mean, are they going to be expecting them to stay on an extra year, or are they going to be expecting them to stay, like work extra hard? I don't really know how it's going to work.
Well, what I wanted to, dial back before we got disconnected, and thank you for what you were saying about me and having passion. I appreciate that. I love my job. I love what I do. I mostly I love the students that I service, and I enjoy watching their transformation when they come into the building and they engage with us, and their hardships that they go through. We try to help them through it, but most of that comes from my upbringing, my family. Like we're really, when we have something in our heads, we're really passionate about it, and we're focused, and we like to complete the task because our name is on it. And that's how I kind of go into every day at work, even on those days where it's a struggle, dealing with my students and dealing with my own issues and own household things, and not bringing them into my engagement with my students. But also because that is what I received in the school district that I went to. It's an inner city school district, and they have a lot of stereotypes, towards the school district. And when I was there, the teachers that were there, they worked really hard. They cared about us. They were phenomenal teachers, and our principal, she's passed away, but I mean, she was definitely a great mentor for me. So I appreciate you saying so. I really do. But as it relates to what your opinion, I totally agree, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, regardless of what it says on paper, and regardless what as far as the grades and the attendance, we're thinking about students who are juniors and seniors. Regardless if they still get like the above average and they make it into college, they still miss the education. Are they going to be prepared? Like, they're going to feel prepared when they go into that higher education, when they missed out on a lot of, like, like say like public speaking class, or even just talking about like leaving the academic portion out, but the mental health portion. Like, you're dealing with students who learn so much, where school is more than just learning academically. School is an engagement. It's a way for you to learn how to interact with people who don't look like you, who don't live like you. A space where you learn how to deal with people of authority that you don't like. How do you respond? And that you learn that all the way from kindergarten on up. Like, you're learning those social skills and that social emotional learning that's being taken away. I know, speaking for my household, like I said, my daughter was in kindergarten when it first happened. So she had to finish out her kindergarten year with recess online. It's kind of hard to have recess when there's nobody there to play with. Like, she still
Mhm.
has recess, and on her virtual calls, there's a downtime where the kids that are in school, they're going to they're playing like at their desk and bringing stuff from home to play at their desk, but they can't actually go out to the playground and really like run around and laugh and joke and tag and all those things. They can't do any of that. So now my daughter is left to go to play like a board game with my husband during that recess time, and she's missing that engagement that we need, that we thrive off of. You're missing. I've had seniors who there's no homecoming, there's no prom, there's no graduation. Like, they're missing out on those things that, even as I've been out of high school and college for many years now, I still remember. Like, I was prom queen, I was in homecoming, I was in a band, I ran track, and all those things that made high school. They don't have that right now. So I mean, there's the academic side that's suffering, but then there's the sheer memories of just being, like my in-laws, my niece, her prom dress was to die for. Her prom dress was so beautiful, and last year they were going back and forth. Are they going to have prom later? Were they going to do it? And they ended up not having anything for prom. And so she got photos done, and it was so sad. It was so sad just to, she was beautiful, and we were all like, we cheered her on, and we were there to support her and everything, but it just is not the same. It's not the same. So there are so many pieces outside of the academic that you can't get back. You can't have a virtual prom. You just can't.
Yeah. The only other thing is, like, my son goes to a special needs school, and initially they said if you're a key worker, i.e. NHS or like special services, then your children would continue to go to school, and if you had a healthcare plan, i.e. you have special needs or disability, then your children could also go to school. However, Alfie's school is a bit of a contradiction, because they've said yes, your child will still be able to go to school, but then the union have said if the teachers don't feel safe, they don't have to go to work. So the problem with Alfie's school is, yes, it's open for people like him and key worker children, but there's no staff there to cover it, because the teachers have said, okay, well, actually, no, I don't feel safe, I'm not going to work. So for him, they've tried to arrange like Zoom meetings and Zoom classes. It's not that he's not interested, he doesn't do it. Like, he'll last 5 minutes and then he'll start, either getting upset or he'll be anxious, and it's pointless. So I don't know if it's the same there. Like, you still have to be open for key worker children, and have the government or the union said, actually, teachers don't have to go to work if they don't want to.
Yeah, we do have spaces where our students who have, who are intellectually disabled or mentally and physically challenged in sorts, we do have a space where they were still coming into the schools, and you have the mitigations in place to make sure that they're safe and the staff is safe. So I feel it's unfortunate that that's not the case for your son, that teachers were not able to come in. There's like a double-edged sword. Like, do we say to teachers that you have to put your own physical health at risk so that you can service someone else's child, even though you don't want to bring the possibility of having it home to your child or to your family? But then on the education side, as an educator, it is painful, because we know that your son, or students like your son, they're not going to get what they need. My youngest brother, he has a mental I don't like to call them disabilities. he does have some challenges. Yeah, he has some challenges, and he's overcome so much, and I credit that to the school district that he goes to. He's in a school district in Northern Virginia, and I credit that to them. Like, when he first got there, he could not do much of anything academically, as far as reading and just the confidence in itself. And the school district worked with him. They continued to work with him when doctors and people said that he wasn't going to be able to do this or that. My brother was able to graduate and actually walk the stage, and then transition into a vocational program where it's supposed to be very hands-on, much independent learning, life skills, taking them out, job shadowing, and they're not able to do it to its full capacity because of the virus. And that kind of made my brother sad, because he was looking forward to it. We likened it to him going to college. So everybody was really excited for him, and we still are excited for him, but he's not getting the experience in a space where he needs to feel comfortable, because he's 19 years old now. He needs to learn how to feel comfortable and engaging with people, talking to people, purchasing things, receiving change back. And those fine skills and fine motor skills and independent living skills need to be done in person, So, I feel for you as a parent. I feel for your son in those circumstances, because, that could possibly, and I'm praying for the fact that it's not going to be for you, but that could possibly be a huge setback for your son or for a child like your son, because they've gotten to those milestones where they've reached their those IEP goals, and then everything's taken away,
Right.
so it's unfortunate. And if you're working as a parent, you can't even give him the attention that you need to give him and help him, because you have to keep food on the table.
Mhm.
It's it could be, like I said in the beginning, you can make it feel like a lose-lose situation, but then you have to muster up the strength to make make the best out of whatever you can. We try to be as creative as possible, and I give teachers and educators a pat on their back for how versatile they have been. With short amount of time, they have whipped their curriculums and lesson plans and threw them on the online. And I have some teachers that are like so confused. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to do it. They're so used to doing things. They've been teaching for 15 years and they always do it this way. And now they have to, engage it online, and they're making it happen. So, there is an unfortunate situation for young people in that space. But like I said to you before, like that is the government's responsibility. The unions are there for a reason. They are there to protect the teachers, but that is the government's responsibility. Instead of opening restaurants and bars, we should have been thinking about how we can service our young people when it comes to their education in these spaces.
Well, yeah, because the young people, they're our future, right? They're going to be our future prime
Mhm.
ministers, presidents, and all the rest of it. So, if we don't help them as much as possible, then, well, God only knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Mrs. Green. I know we had some technical difficulty, but you hung in
Yes,
there
thank
with us.
you.
We appreciate you. And I want to thank you again because you bring a lot of light to a lot of what's going on during this pandemic, as far as education with our children, as far as, behind the scenes, as far as a counselor and a teacher, because we don't, as parents, we don't see that. See, we
No.
think that, and this is my opinion because my kids are grown now, they ain't in school. So, um, but as a parent, I can just imagine thinking that the teacher knows all, she can handle it, but yet we don't see that other side, you know what I mean? So to have you on to shine just a tad bit of light on the situation brings a lot to people, our viewers, and people who are watching. So I appreciate you so much for taking time out to shed a little light on the dealings, the ins and outs of education for our kids during the pandemic.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I want to say, I think you're doing an amazing job. And I totally hope at the end of this, when this is all over, that you get something out of it, like a little something extra.
Well,
well,
we
I
we
appreciate
definitely have something for you because you are our first guest. So
it.
just be on the lookout. Don't,
I
don't be
appreciate
stealing my
it.
dance. Don't be stealing my dance. Stealing my dance.
Thank you guys.
Um,
I appreciate you guys for having me. Like you were saying, some things are kind of like, left unsaid, and you don't really think about. You don't think about the ins and outs of how things go, and oftentimes, I mean, I've been talking to teachers, and they are broken inside. So I thank you for letting me just kind of be a spokesperson for the educational system for right now, and shedding some
yeah.
light on that. Thank you for letting me, and I feel honored to be you guys' first guest.
Yeah, thank you. From across the pond, we thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, we just want to thank you. Um, we'll probably have you on in the near future.
Yeah, when this is all gone, you can come back and it'll be a much more positive, you can say how
Yeah,
marvelous everything is.
instead of doom and
Absolutely.
gloom.
I sure will. I sure will. And it was nice meeting you.
Nice to
Yes.
meet you too.
Thank you. Oh my
Oh,
God, that
bless
was so
her.
great. We
I
had a
know,
little bit
right?
of insight on how the education is being done versus, this pandemic. Because you know
And
what? A lot of
mhm,
us have seen a lot of these drive-by proms and drive-by graduations and stuff like
No.
that. This is probably the first year that we actually have students who are actually getting tossed around. So to hear somebody that is dealing with it, what was
Yeah.
a treat. What do you think?
And not only that, like I was literally like me and you, people say all the time we interrupt each other, you know, and blah blah blah. Oh my god, we were totally in it. Like I couldn't help but listen to her, like full on focus.
I
And
was
then I
sucked
was like,
in.
oh, I want to
I
ask
was
questions.
sucked in.
I was like, wait, just wait until there's like a breath or a pause before you even say anything. Don't interrupt her. You know, I felt like she was so like such an important person.
Yeah.
You know, a bit like, you know, when you were at school and you had to listen to your teacher. I almost felt like, oh my god, I have to listen to her.
I thought I was going to get detention.
Oh,
Don't you
God.
interrupt that teacher. But yes, but she did give some really, like I said before, she did shine some light that I think all parents, all other educational people need to hear. Even the school district itself, they need to hear these type of things because, like I said, I'm not going to sit there and say they dropped the ball. I'm not going to sit there and say that, but education is important. I am a stickler. My kids tell you I'm a stickler. I'm a pit bull when it comes to education because, like you said, these children are our future. And if we're not showing them or encouraging them that education is key, then guess what? Who's at fault?
I mean, let's be fair, the buck's got to stop somewhere, right? So where is it going to stop? But also it was, you know, I don't want to say heartbreaking, but like when she said, oh, some teachers are literally broken inside, you know, people are forgetting that there's a lot of strain on them, you know, and like Alfie's school where there's some teachers that are saying, do you know what, I'm going to go and teach our students, and some teachers that are saying, actually, I don't feel safe, I'm not going in. Those teachers that are still going in are having to pick up the slack for all those other teachers that aren't going in. So, you know, they might find themselves where they're teaching children, say, of a different age range that they normally would do, or with different abilities than they normally would do. You know, they're literally bending over backwards. So I really do hope that the government does do something, you know, for our teachers, for our nurses, for our key workers, whenever this is over and we come out of the other side. I genuinely really hope they remember that. Even if they was to give them a one-off bonus, you know,
Yeah,
they've got
but then you
some
also,
pay rise.
yeah, but then you also got to understand the new hires too. You got new teachers. You got people that graduated. They thought they were going to get a classroom full of kids. You know, they wanted to decorate their rooms and all that good stuff.
I
And
wonder
they're
what the
working
percentage
from
would be.
home.
I wonder what the percentage will be on them quitting. Let's say last year it was your first year of being a teacher, and then you get this. I wonder how many of them will still survive at the other end, or be
I
like, do you
don't
know
know.
what? Nah, this is not for me. I'm done.
Yeah, that would be great. But
But can I just say,
go
I'm
for it.
really sorry about all the technical stuff. You know, most
Don't
of it
be
did lie
sorry.
across. Most of it has lied across this side of the
Don't
pond.
don't be sorry. Because guess what? Things happen, people.
And
It
you know what?
happens.
This always keep it real.
We keeps it
My
100.
only downside is there's no ring light, so I look terrible.
And I look extra bright. I don't know. I done turned this thing
Exactly.
down like 15 times.
You've got all my light.
I feel like, yeah, I think your light got sucked into mine because I done turned this thing down like 15 times. I'm about to turn it off. It
Well,
just got bright all of a sudden.
this is gonna be like a, you know, like when people get catfished. This is a catfish moment. This is what I
You need
normally
to
look
knock
like.
it off. Isn't people? My co-host is beautiful. She needs to knock it off.
And also we'll apologise because we won't be able to play the jingle today.
Yeah, so it's okay. Jingle will be played on Friday. So here we go. This is Soph,
This is Rich.
and we are from across the
Across
pond.
the pond.
Thank you guys for putting up with our technical difficulties.
Thank you for holding the fort, Rich, and taking the driving seat.
This is what we do. Teamwork make the dream work.
Thank you.